Hello and welcome to the aForm Show, the premier podcast for all things architecture and design across the MENA region. Welcome to your tribe. Today's episode is supported by SkyStruct, the groundbreaking construction and project management solution that's absolutely turning heads in the industry. They are bringing together architects, engineers, project managers, procurement, and essentially any stakeholder onto one singular platform. Yes, clients are included. SkyStruct is genuinely changing the game. Its tailored modules for construction management, inventory, labor, cost management helps streamline the chaos of construction projects. They are rolling out very soon in Dubai, but you as the listener can get in early. Drop us an email at hello@aform.studio and find out how SkyStruct is the future, and it is here today. Now, let's get into the episode. Hello and welcome to the show. Today we are joined by Mohammed Adib, Partner and Chief Design Officer at Dewan Architects and Engineers with projects across multiple continents. He is involved with leading the design language at Dewan and establishing new markets. Mohammed is also the owner and managing director of Intercon, an interior design firm in Barcelona. Over the last 30 years, he has left his mark all around the world, starting from his time right at university. A truly wholesome career with much to learn from. It is truly a pleasure to have him on the show. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to the show, Mohammed.
Thank you very much. And thank you for this amazing intro.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to lie, this was one of the hardest intros to do because when you have such an expansive career going over so much, it's difficult. Like, what do we even talk about? I don't know. but so much to do. So I thought, let's start with today, right? I thought this is a good springing off point. So first question to you is, at the moment, what is your current design challenge? What are you thinking about? Something design related, which has got the wheels turning upstairs.
Okay. The times that we're living here in the Middle East are very, very exciting, really.
Yep.
It is, I haven't learned so much every day since I was in university. It's really, really exciting time. The projects are very varied. They're very creative. Everyone wants to think out of the box. You're competing with everyone in the world. Everyone's working here. And it's really, really this kind of challenge that architects need, that to be on the edge of their top game when it's this challenging. So I think this is the most exciting part. We're doing projects that I've never done before. The only problem probably is the timelines. Yes. Somehow they've been squeezed. But otherwise, it's great times.
Yeah. I think you touched upon something interesting, which was timelines. I remember looking at one of your interviews, I think fairly recently, wherein you kind of spoke about how the time frame of concept design or pre-concept to concept is actually the most important and how that's normally lost on clients. Yeah. I kind of want to understand, maybe from your experience. I know it's obviously in theory, it makes sense. Give me more time to design and then I can make up, time in production. Financially speaking, commercially speaking, does that still work for a client?
I think it has to. It's probably clients still don't understand it, but we need to keep on sort of trying to explain it. The easier the concept, the more clear the concept is, the better it is to carry out the project. Gotcha. Everything works much, much better. Any decision that's taken at later stages has a basis for it. And, it comes almost automatically. I think what we need to do as designers is we need to find ways of speeding up the concept, because as you say, the clients, it's very difficult. If I ask for 8 weeks for concept, they won't. They'll give it to someone else. Oh, come on, guys.
If we leave this in just for context, that's the conference room next to us with chairs moving around. But it's fine.
Our office is very well acoustically designed by me, I'm afraid. Sorry about that.
No, I'm sure it's good. But yes, you were saying about 8 weeks from a client. I mean, yeah, any client's going to turn around and say,
they will not. So really what we need to find is ways of getting the message quicker, and this, we've been experimenting lately with AI. For that, I think this is a very, very good way of using AI. It's a way of explaining our concept. The concept, when you're designing, you can get it very quickly, but you have to explain it.
Yeah.
And explaining it, majority of the clients want to see a render. And doing a render at concept just does not make sense. If I'm ready for a render at concept, what am I going to do for the rest of the 3 months that the project is going to be designed?
Exactly. Yeah.
And plus, the render is a wrong idea because the client starts looking into details that are irrelevant. They start saying, "Oh, but I don't like this table." Yeah, but we're talking about a build. The table, change the table.
Right.
I'll put 10 more tables. But with AI, you can produce a level of images that the clients could understand easier, even though they're a lot more inaccurate than any sketch or any mood images. But it's a way of explaining that. I think this is one aspect. The other aspect is there's always a bit of a jump between concept and schematic, because usually the software or the media that we use to present something is different from the schematic stage. We're trying a lot now to use, I'm sorry, I'm getting a bit more technical about software and things like that.
Everyone listening is designers, so get as technical as you want.
So what we are experimenting a lot is to try and reduce the schematic basically by extending the concept. So for the client, it's sort of the same, but for us, it allows us a bit more time to work on the concept, to understand the vision of the client, and to develop something that could be taken further much smoothly and in a clearer way.
So, just for me to understand, would it then be fair to say that it is definitely beyond a concept, but maybe like a developed concept with, I'm assuming, engineering to some extent also involved?
I think it's more sort of drawn properly. It's not so much SketchUp and cheating and showing things in a nice way, but really having something that will work.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than selling an idea and then a schematic doesn't work and you have to convince the client that what you sold him was bad and you have to do something else.
Correct. Feasible grids, minimum, well, not minimum, but cantilevers within reason.
Yeah, exactly. If the cantilever is very important, then make it clear for the client. This is going to cost you 3 times because of this.
Yes.
You want to go for it? We'll go for it. But
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. There is a term which one of our younger listeners had shared with me recently, and I found it quite hilarious. And I basically wanted to get what your take on it is, because you're clearly involved in the AI side of design as well. And the term was promptitecture. Promptitecture, which is prompt-led architecture.
Yeah.
Which I thought was quite funny. Obviously, as you can imagine, but it kind of opens up a much more bigger and probably a bit more serious question, which is that what architects now need to add as a skill? We need to know how to become better prompters to become more efficient?
I think architecture, we've always been at the cutting edge of technology. I started with CAD 3.0. It was a black screen with a green dot.
Wow.
And you wrote XY grid. You typed 600 words and you moved a line, and then another 600 words and moved vertically. And then you think, my God, 10 minutes later, I've got a box done. Yeah. So we have to adapt to technology. We have to use it the best way, but we should not believe that it designs. This is the reality of it. Artificial intelligence, it's not really intelligence. I'm talking about design. I'm not talking about other forms. It's a very quick Google, basically. So it's a good way of searching. It's a good way of looking for images, and including, I would do in Barcelona, actually, what we do is we base it on a data bank of our own images.
Oh, interesting.
So this is just to sort of, it seems a bit easier to get to what we want, and it's a bit more exact rather than searching everyone that's done a building that's similar to the word that we wrote. I think that is one part that is used. The other part of artificial intelligence, I think it's more is the generative architecture. This is something that CAD has had for many years. I think these are tools that are more important into design, that assist more in design than really the sort of renders, the amazing renders that are being done now, which have no context. I'm sure it will soon be plugged in direct into Revit. I know we're testing a few programs that are coming out that could be a good way of sort of what the render you have has some sort of substance. But at the end of the day, really, it's an image. As I said, we use it to explain an idea, but you have to sit down and draw it on a piece of paper afterwards. For sure.
But do you realistically see these AI tools at this time? I mean, mid to end 2023. If anyone's listening years later, give a bit of context. But at this time, do you realistically see AI reducing time in normal design workflow?
Concept, yes. Pre-concept, let's say pre-concept.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, before a normal project, pre-concept, you get the brief, you think about it, you do a few sketches, you get an idea. The first presentation to the client, you need to show him some mood images.
Hmm.
It's actually quicker to generate an image than to look for it.
Okay.
So, I mean, just that is a saving. I mean, I'm not very good at it. I mean, we have specialists here. They're a certain breed of architects. They're not real architects. They're prompty architects. They were from our Metaverse Architectural Department.
Okay.
The Metaverse seems to have disappeared after a great year of everyone talking about it, but that's good. So now our prompty architects, they could generate in a day 600 amazing images that explain a concept, whereas it would probably take me 3-4 days to look through Google and Pinterest and things like that. So this part is quicker and it's more exact. I can fine tune an image, whereas before a mood image we used to Photoshop it.
Okay.
To show a different material, to show a different look, just to make it a bit more accurate to what the idea I want to convey to the client. So I think that pre-concept level, it's speeded up, but not only in the production of it, but to get the reply or to get the go-ahead from the client, definitely.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Because I do ask this to a lot of the people that come on the show, and I've sort of received very mixed response. Generally speaking, a lot of people say that yes, at concept, pre-concept, definitely for exactly that purpose. But a lot of them see programs on the back end as well. For example, in production, AI kind of, plugging into most BIM softwares can now generate a lot of details and things like that. So on the back end, they're able to save a bit of time as well. So overall, it seems like it should reduce the timeline, but I feel like as architects, we're just going to use that time to look at more options and explore the design more, which maybe is not a bad thing. I don't know.
It's the same when CAD started. When CAD started, you used to. I remember when in Barcelona, especially, when we were starting and everything was developed, CAD allows you or almost forces you to do too many options.
Right.
It's like mirror, flip, rotate, things like it's so easy. It's so easy. I used to actually take all the mouses from the computers I used to go in the morning and take on one morning a week without anyone knowing him. I would take them all. And everyone had to work by pen and paper, because I say, if you give me 5 options, you've worked 20% on each option.
Correct.
Give me one option that you've worked on. You could have done your 3 options or 2 options, but develop an option. And this is the option that it is. I hate giving options. Here's as well. It's in the Middle East, it's common to do 3 options of something. 3 options. They're squeezing your concept. You have to do 3 options. It's not, and this is really the speed of computers that has allowed us to do that, or forcing us to do that, which is wrong. It's you're spending less time on developing the idea. So it will give us more time to do more options. But I think if the front end is done, the concept, the time that is spare, we can develop it to do more details. I don't think a computer could do a detail better than so far. It could go and look at all the details, but the problem is what's out there. The information that it uses, there could be really useless details. There could be details that cannot do. It's whatever is out there. I could do 10 details that leak every time it rains and put it on the internet, and some artificial intelligent stupid machine would copy it and use it in someone else's design. So I think we really should use it for the ideas at the moment. If it develops better in a way, fine. Anything that's text generated, anything that explains a concept, summarizes an idea, I think these things are very good, because sometimes it just explains it better than I would write it, or it would take much quicker than, For me personally, writing is a chore. It's difficult. I can draw something much easier. If I had to write an explanation of a thing, it will take me a day. If I had to sketch and explain it to something, it will take me an hour,
True.
But we have to do the text as well. So these sort of things, are better from the computers.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. A slightly different take, but yeah, thank you very much. Got my brain thinking now about what we could possibly do. I sort of want to pivot gears a little bit because I feel it would be a missed opportunity if we didn't talk about a couple of more things. And with the very first thing which I wanted to ask is, well, I mean, it seems a bit superficial, but I've never met a chief design officer before. So I'm curious to know, what does your normal day look like? What are you involved in? How does it start? When do you wake up? Who knows? But what does your normal day look like as a CDO?
I mean, I'm sort of 90% of my time now is D1, really.
Okay.
I mean, it is Intercon is I'm involved in certain projects. It's a company that's running on its own. It's working very well. We have a very specialized niche market, and it's we've been going on 30 years. A lot of the people that are there now actually started with us. I mean, there's two people that actually are employee number 2 and employee number 3.
Oh,
Yeah, and they're still there and they're running the company perfectly. So it has very little time from me. D1 is a different animal. You know, it's a huge company. It's especially where we are and the amount of work we had. I mean, last year was our best year in 40 years, and this year is looking even better. You know, the amount of work we're growing like crazy. So I mean, one advantage I have is I sleep very little. I average about 4 or 5 hours. So that is actually amazing because it gives me 20 hours a day instead of 16 or
there's a lot
17
of
hours.
architects there going, man, if only I had that.
Yeah, no, really, it's incredible. I mean, I wake up. I don't know if it's a blessing or not, but I've always been like that. I wake up 5 a.m. wherever I am, whatever time zone it
No
is.
coffee, no brain fog,
No, no,
clear
no, no,
vision,
no. The
everything.
first 2, 3 hours of the day are my most productive. Are my most productive. We have different time zones as well, so that's okay. I mean, at 5 a.m. there's still some people working somewhere in one of our offices, so that's also positive. But usually, you know, I come to the office and most of my emails are already replied to. If I had to sort of sort out a drawing or something like that, that's sort of I've been thinking about it. If it's very complex, I didn't even sleep the 5 hours because I was sleeping and thinking about it. But that is I think the biggest advantage I have. And then unfortunately, a lot of my work is call it a fireman. I have to put out fires. So when I come to the office, usually I have my fire helmet and I sort of
Yeah.
solve issues and problems. But my main task really is sort of the design identity, to develop a design identity for a company, and that involves. Fortunate enough is that I can choose some of the projects that I work on, and it's just really supporting the amazing team we have. You know, the D1 is very similar to Intercon. You know, a lot of the people are here from the beginning. It's also celebrating 40 years next year. The founder, Mohammed Adib, is still involved every day. I mean, he's here today. He comes into the office, knows about all the projects. Ammar and I, Ammar is my partner and my CEO, the CEO. We're involved in all the projects. We're every day the office, weekends as well when there's people here. Usually, we're also here. So it's really just supporting the team, trying to sort of guide the design and the way. It's not really a design style because you know every sort of project, every country has its own not limitations but its own obligations to design in a certain way. So I think that is really my main job is to have a coherence in everything we produce so that whether it is we're doing a huge mixed development in Phuket, Thailand, or we're doing a refurbishment in Barcelona, the same DNA of design when you look at it, even though the style is different, even the thing, but the attention to detail, the human-centric design is there. And when you see it, you sort of, maybe you don't know it's done by D1, but you feel comfortable in the building, and that's something very important.
And I think a company of this scale, you must be, putting out so much work. So it probably makes sense to have like a unified design language through all of them. It's something which I think a lot of firms struggle with, primarily because maybe there just aren't those many projects to create a language
Mm.
just yet. But I think something of your scale, that must be quite a challenge to do. I mean, it doesn't seem like an easy task, to be honest.
No, as I said, it's not really so much a style, but it's really the concept to develop the style in a certain way. It really is. It's a building. I mean, so everyone's talking about sustainability and how important it is and everything. But sustainability starts not in using less electricity or choosing a material that's recycled, but you could have a platinum LEED certified building that's empty. That's the most unsustainable thing in the world. You see a lot of buildings that are certified, and everything is certified here. You see it's certified, then you go and the corridor is dead ends, empty spaces, all developed, which needs to be, you build, the cost is cubic meter, not square meter. Everyone thinks of square meter. If there's too much height some areas, if there's a void in the ceiling that is useless, all this is wasted carbon, wasted energy, wasted time. And this is I think, more important in design than a style or a language. This is something that the design has to adapt to the need of the people that are using it. It has to adapt to its environment. I mean, we are in Dubai. We're sitting in a glass-fronted office block. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You don't even have that in Norway. But it's I try and tell every client, do a blind wall, and they will not accept it. Our office in Riyadh is actually the Kenzo Tange building.
Oh, wow.
It's the King Fahd Foundation building, and it's a triangular base plan, and one full side of 16 or 18 floors is just
solid wall,
because it's the sun. The sun is there, and it's a Japanese architect in the 60s or 70s. I don't know when it was built, and that's it.
That's awesome.
The sun is there. We don't need a window there.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
exactly.
And it looks amazing from the outside. Because it's not just solid; it's all Carrara marble from top to bottom. So this is something really, really nice. And the other two sides, it's full windows with full views.
Yeah.
So these things, I think, is what I strive to do in design. When you see a building, it is when you're living in it, when you're using it, you are comfortable. And it could be Mediterranean style, it could be Japanese, it could be the language on the outside, the language of the spaces could differ.
Yeah.
If it's a resort in Thailand, it's not going to be the same as an office block in Manhattan. They have to be different buildings. The spaces are different, the hierarchy of spaces, the transition from one space to the other. But if you feel okay, there's no wasted space, it's protected from its environment, this is good design, and this is what we're striving to do here.
Gotcha. Makes a lot of sense. I mean, I've obviously not seen that office, but I'm mentally just trying to think about. I'm like, so like a Carrara marble Emirate Stars floor plan.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It sounds amazing. I have a very obvious question, but I think you may have answered it, but I'll ask it anyway, which is, I get asked quite often, between practicing as an architect, between being, a founder of, this podcast and so on, time management. Do I live by my calendar? If it's not on my calendar, it won't happen. So much so, my partner who's listening knows that if dinner is not on my calendar, I will not be there for dinner. I'm wondering, do you have a similar lifestyle?
Yes, yeah, obviously. I mean, the time management, as in meetings and things like that, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't know what I used to do with that Outlook. I mean, I knew I had a file of facts and an agenda and these things, right. But I think this is for the meetings. I studied at boarding school in the UK, so you cannot be late for anything. You had to. The latest you can be is 5 minutes before that, or at the time. So that is something. So that is for sure. But what to do and how to manage what I have to do, I'm still a big fan of every week, Monday morning, I have a week commencing urgent list. And this is the list of things I do. So this is critical, really. I mean, it is, I have it on paper. I have a book which my clients say that it's a very loved book because it's falling to pieces. and basically every week I have that list, which grows during the week, and I just cross things It's
Right.
black and red. There's always black and red pen inside. So the list is in black and it's touched out in red. Another thing that is very useful is besides these lists is I have this strange phobia of having red marks on the phone of messages, of emails and things like that.
Oh, right.
I
Okay.
just cannot see them.
Right.
So basically,
Anti-notification.
I cannot. I'd rather disactivate them than not reflect them.
Right.
It really is a phobia. It's become a phobia. So I just try to dedicate certain times during the day just to clear all that. And also the email, which is getting ridiculous now. It's just getting bombarded. What I have is I try to aim that my inbox is not more than what you see in the page. So basically, if you get 20 emails left at the end of the day, maximum unanswered emails 20. Not 100% because also whatever is CC'd, I have a CC'd special folder. Okay. And everyone's gonna know this, and they're gonna start cheating because already the clients that know that send, instead of CC me, they send it too. So it comes in the main one.
Like he will see it now.
He will see it now. The CC2 ones, usually I leave for the weekend.
Okay.
So it's sort of from Friday afternoon, I start going through the CC'd one. If there's something urgent, whoever is working on the team will point it up to me and come to me. But usually that is sort of the 3 steps that plus leaving 4 hours, it's what makes me go through the day.
Wow. You sound like a very highly efficient person. which I must say, I mean, for someone like myself, I look up to that. It is quite inspiring.
It's very linked to architecture, by the way. You have to be, yes.
Okay.
You have to be organized.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. I don't. But the thing is, like architects on one side, while they are organized and everything, and I know colleagues who are listening to this, if they are, you know exactly who you are. Architects can be quite messy too.
Yes.
So can they both exist in one sort of?
I think so. I mean, the mess is our design side. When you design, it's a mess. You really have to break things up to start from fresh. But, I remember I studied at the AA in London. I remember my first year, there was, they always have these lecture series. And there was one series which was amazing. I mean, it was every week, there was about, I think they invited 12 people. They all had studied architecture, but none of them were working as architects. And it gave you an idea how the architect's mind really works. It's a very strange way of looking at things. So they were all explaining why they were good at their job because having studied architecture. And it was really very varied. I think it was one of the guys who developed the tiles that were on the space shuttle, the sort of insulating tiles in the space shuttle. One was developing machines for I think it was one of the medical companies and things like that. It was really, really very, very varied. But they're all saying that the way that architecture, when you study architecture, you start thinking is what I was saying before. You take something, whether be it a problem or a necessity or something to do, you have to break it into its essential parts and then build it in a way that you think would work better. And this way of thinking is very methodical. Whether you're messy at doing it or your lines are dirtier or your kitchen sink is full, that's something else. But I think your mind has to be very structured.
Right.
We're all a bit autistic, by the way. Architects are a bit...
I would not argue that. I feel like I might be slightly. Just again, to kind of switch gears, because I think what you're saying has a lot of parallels for architects, even on the business side of things. And this is something which a lot of architects don't typically talk about. I think if you ask any architect, what's your career path? What's your goal? And they'll say, I want to be an architect, then I want to be a senior, I want to be an associate, I want to be a director, and then maybe one day I'll open a firm of my own. But simple things like, have you thought about partnership? Have you thought about finding other architects and opening, a whole new practice? It's always this kind of solo journey that every architect is on. And if you're up for it, I'd like to, really dive deep into that topic and really get into maybe a lot of things which architects don't know. As in, if we were to just start off, if there are architects listening and they want to speak to their director and say, hey, listen, can I become a partner? Can I become a profit share partner? Is that a thing? What should they need to know? I mean, how do they even go about this?
It's too late to tell them to do something else and not study architecture. But anyway, I don't know. I mean, generally, architects were very bad businessmen. Really, I mean, I'm very lucky in Dewan is that my partner is very good at that side of the business. I have no idea. I'm very good at spending money. I'm very bad at making it. I remember John Soane when he did the Bank of England. He got £3,000 in fees, and he saw a mummy esophagus, and he paid the 3,000 to buy it because he just loved it. And it was the next day he was broke, And this is something. And I thought, my God, how can this happen? And then a few years later, we managed to buy in Barcelona, the Intercon. We were like, I think it was quite small. We were like 12 people or something. And all of a sudden, I saw this amazing plotter, which was like 60,000 euros. And I bought that plotter.
We have to have it.
We have to have that plotter. And we bought that plotter, which was like half of our income almost. But we bought that plotter. And I thought, oh my God, I'm doing exactly what I was laughing at Johnson. Making the jump from architecture to business, it's a very, very difficult thing. We Dewan is a different machine. Dewan is they had before I came in as a partner, they had a fund invested in it, so it was really structured like a corporation. It's a family-run business. Everyone works here. We call each other Diwanis. It's from Mohammed Adib is the feeling of being part of Dewan is something very strong. Even though it's a corporation, it's a very, very professionally run corporation, and the volume of work, the volume of turnover, it's huge. So that is something else. Whereas smaller firms, to make the jump was very difficult for us. I mean, Intercon, during many, many years, we were a company of 13. I just liked that number, and we just could not. I didn't want to pass 13, and I really did not know how to do it. I knew how to sort of do bigger projects and improve on projects and things like that, but I just didn't know how to. I was very, very hands-on. Everyone that used to come in, I would sit down and do the process of training and teaching. I used to review every single plan. I used to even draw some of the plans, even though we were doing very, very big projects. But one day I thought we actually got a project. It was a headquarters of a company, Securitas. It's a Swedish security firm. And it was a big competition against Foster and can't remember who was the third one. So it was three of us. We were I think 11, 12 people at the time, and dealing with Foster and things like that. And then we won that competition, and that made me think, really, there's no difference. It's Foster is a group of small offices our size, so it's we just need to grow in different things, different ways, and different groups. So that was a very big turning point in my career, and but still I wasn't sure how to do it. So the way I did it was we got in a company to sort of professionalize our system, and that was actually quite a I think a brave move, because it destroyed the way we were working. Really, I mean, it just became a mess. Because I was used to do everything. And then all of a sudden we had to do systems and things like that, not realizing that it was part of the journey to be much, much better. It just took us a bit too long. So it was 2 very difficult years. On top of that, I decided to go from CAD to BIM, which was even a bigger disaster.
I mean, if you must change everything in one go, right?
Exactly. And it was actually good times. And people were thinking they were crazy because we were saying no to work, because I just couldn't see how it was going to go. We were growing in people, but it just didn't see. But that change makes you think of it as a proper company. It's critical. It's critical. So going back to your question, if an architect wants to, not so much as become a partner, but if he wants to set up on his own, which I would recommend everyone to do that, really. I mean, I think it's really nice. It's really nice to work on your own. You have to be aware of these steps during the growth of the company that are a bit tough, that are very challenging. But again, because we are very methodical, because architects have a very structured brain, it's just you have to break it up and take the step and move on again.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think there's a lot of design thinking principles and problem solving skills, which architects can actually apply to business as well. If you look at business as a design problem, right? If I have a cash flow problem, I can design structures to work around a cash flow problem.
Don't buy a 60,000 euro plotter.
Probably don't buy a 60,000 euro plotter would be solution number one. But yeah, and I think we just don't talk about that enough. I mean, even in kind of close circles, for example, people seem quite cagey to talk about, yeah, I'm a partner, but specifics of it, etc., etc. Or even if I'm running my own firm, everyone, I feel when it comes to business, for design, everyone's more than happy to discuss. But when it comes to business, I feel everyone's like a bit unsure. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I don't want to tell anyone either that I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, I mean, I think we just need to have that conversation a lot more. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I agree fully. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I then want to ask, I mean, it seems again like an obvious question. I get asked this quite often that, if you're going to be a practicing architect and you're going to be a podcast host and, where is your loyalty? You could just, stop something one day, start something the other day. Are you really committed if you're that diversified, so to speak? And I typically answer them saying, at the moment, I love what I do. And it may change tomorrow, and maybe tomorrow I'll lose interest in it. I don't know. But at the moment, it seems like a missed opportunity if I don't try and do as much as I can. And you're clearly someone who does quite a bit as well. So do you feel the same way?
Totally. I mean, I think actually the more I diversify, the more
happy you are.
the happier I am, and the better I do each one. Really, really. I mean, I Dewan, Intercon. I have Waro also with Rashad Tikriti. I have a hotel, 2 hotels in Spain. I have an hotel operator. They're 5-star grand luxury hotels. I do development. We do quite a few developments in Europe, and all this is just very rewarding. I'm very, very lucky that I love what I do. Everything is design related, from the hotel to the developments. Everything is that. Money is secondary, thank God, because I don't know how to make money. So, but it's just it's really very good. The more I do, the happier I am. Really.
Okay.
I mean, I just get bored without, I cannot go on holiday and sit down. I need to do something. I really always need to do something.
Okay. All right. Final question on the topic before we kind of conclude the episode, so to speak. Again, just based on your experience, because you obviously, you wear different hats with, these different companies. For architects who are looking to pretty much, well, not copy, but like work along the same career path, which, for example, you've had, is there any book you would recommend for them to read, or any, I don't know, a course or anything like that, just to kind of understand how to set up a business, how do shares work, how do you bring on talent, that kind of thing?
Not really. I mean, I still don't know how to read a company balance. I still don't know how to, really, I have no idea. Surround yourself with the right people. I cannot be a designer and I cannot be an accountant. This is for sure.
Okay.
It's what we said before. Architects are managers. You have to manage. The same is that I would manage under me an electrical engineer and a structural engineer and a mechanical engineer. It's the same for a business. The business has to run it. There's always a better accountant than me. There's always a better lawyer than me. You cannot be. You can do an MBA to oversee things, but it's not a. Just make sure that whatever you do it with the same energy and the same excitement as it's the first thing that you've ever done, and make sure you surround yourself with the right people.
Okay.
Outsourcing is very important in everything, and especially in design. If I can dedicate my 20-hour day, if I can dedicate 10 to it to design instead of 5 to design and 5 to managing a business, it's much better. It's much better. And have 15 minutes to talk and get the reviews from all the outsourced services that you have, and that's it. In Intercon, we have no admin. Everything is outsourced. Everything we have is production. We have one lady, Christina, who does everything. I don't know how she does it, but she does everything. So
Right.
it's that, and we have a lot of systems. We have a lot of checklists. Just organize everything. It's the same. I mean, our design managers are the ones that chase up the payments. Design managers are the ones that they will ask the accountant to do the invoices, but they have to have their checklist. We work on very, very, very precise checklists, and that just makes everything much easier. You don't forget things. You don't overlook things. Everything is written. The system is done. Take a year to do the system. It will work for 50 years. Don't do a system. You'll work for 5 years and go bankrupt.
Words to live by. I mean, that is so true. That is so true. It is exactly that. If you think of all the legacy companies, meaning being in business for say 30 plus years, it's all about processes. It's all about
For sure.
having workflows and systems in place. And you're absolutely right. It's if you don't have that, you may start off and things are going fine, but sooner or later you'll kind of crash and burn.
Yeah. Especially, in architecture, when you're busy, you have no time for anything else. When you're doing a big project, you have no time for anything else. The project finishes, all of a sudden, okay, where's the next project from? Oh, no, we haven't been doing business development for the last year because we've been busy with this project. Where's the money? Oh, no, we've been paying taxes in advance because we didn't know how much we're going to make. Where everything is just a mess because when you're working, if you have the system, if you have the checklist, then it's day by day. This is what do I have to do today? That's it. What do I have to do tomorrow? That's it. And then the rest of the time is concentrating on the core business, which is designing, basically.
Awesome.
That's the core activity.
Yeah, awesome. Again, like very inspiring. I mean, now I almost want to go and like create framework. I'm like, this is the perfect architecture business. This is going to be the model of it.
I love lists and checklists and reports. I love those. I love those.
Cool. As we kind of wind down the episode on the podcast, we have a bit of a tradition. One of the previous guests, who you won't know, asks a question to the future guest who they don't know.
Okay.
And your question today, when I read it just before we started the episode, I actually thought it's maybe not relevant, but I'm going to ask it nonetheless because maybe you've already done something. The question was to a designer, thankfully. The question was, if you could design a product that is non-architecture related, what would that product be? That was the question. Now, I feel like you've probably already designed a couple of products. So I'm
not the one I want to design.
so I'm going to modify that and ask what would you want to design as a product as of today?
I want to do a car.
You want to do a car?
Yeah, very clear.
Really?
Yeah.
A car?
Yeah.
Wait, so like the body of a car, or like the actual
everything?
Like you want to design an engine and a tire?
Everything. Yeah. I don't like to do just outside or just inside, or I like to do everything. I just want to do from scratch. And if it's run on something that's not running on now, then even better. Just want to do it from the engine to the wheels to the everything.
So definitely something electric at this time, at the very least.
I drive an electric car. Yeah, I'm sure it's electric or whatever. It could be nuclear or steam generator, something different.
Cool. Yeah. That is a big task. Because we have had a designer on the show before who was, I don't want to say a mechanic, but like a automotive engineer or something like that, and started off his career as that. And then through kind of car interiors, felt fabrics and stitchings, and did a bit of, a few online courses in interiors, then is now an interior designer.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So... I can see how you're going like the other way.
No, really, design is design. Design is design. Once you think about designing something, it could be anything. It could be anything. And it's I don't know. I mean, it's not a personal thing. It's always about the product or the thing that you design. I don't like to leave a mark as a person. I'd like to leave a mark as a something. It's almost if no one remembers me, it's like I've done something right. It's not like that I remember because this person because of that. No. If no one remembers me in a few years, that means listen, I've done things right in a way.
Yeah,
and that's the most important thing. But design anything is just so nice.
Interesting. We look forward to that. I mean, I would definitely
I'll
buy
give you
a car that you
one.
design.
I'll give you one. If I ever get run to it.
Well, I mean, anyone listening, if you need a car design or if you know someone who may benefit from one, Mohammed's ready.
Musk.
Awesome. Well, Mohammed, on behalf of the show, thank you so much for your time. I know that you are very, very, very busy.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
And obviously, our listeners, will know how to get in touch with you if they need to. And we'll have things linked in the show notes below. And yeah, just thank you so much. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much. And thank you for doing the podcast. Really, I have it all downloaded on my Spotify. And this is my pastime in the planes, which I spend more than anything. Yeah, I always listen to you. I love the show. And really, it's a really good initiative. It's nice to see what other people are doing and what they're thinking about and how they think as well, which is very interesting.
Cool. A bit of motivation to do more on the show.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you so much, Mohammed. And for the rest of you guys, we will catch you guys next week. Fellow aFormer, thank you so much for your time. If this episode added any value to you, please share it with anyone who may benefit. If you want to carry on the discussion, please get in touch with us over socials. We are at aForm Show on the gram and hello@aform.studio on email. That is at aForm Show on the gram and hello@aform.studio on email. Until next time, stay inspired.